Hi, what's going on here?
Yeah, I'm going to be going to the event today, the National Town Hall on the budget. And actually, I got an email from the organizers of this event last night. I'll email you a copy of the workbook that they wanted us to read up on the night before, pre-brainwashing, I call it. So it's kind of, I heard that this is a biased event. It is being privately funded with guidance from the feds. They want to steer the conversation in a certain direction, which is not really a democratic process. People should be able to think for themselves based on all available information. And so we are protesting the event today too because of the concern that this is not really a true process of democracy. So I'm going to be going inside there for a few hours to just find out what exactly it is that they're trying to touch upon, and then I'll put a report on Facebook and try to get to PIMC a report preliminary of what's going on out there. But
I appreciate it.
So yeah.
Okay, well good. Thanks for being here and going in there.
You bet.
Okay. Hey guys, you're handing out information about what's going on inside there?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just independent media here trying to get a little scoop on what's going on here.
Well, here's a little scoop about
the reasons
for concern about what's going on.
Okay. And you got one
information about
Social Security. Yeah. I'm hearing people out here saying that they kind of want to almost get rid of Social Security, or they're going to push it even higher, further away from
There's the risk.
Can I keep filming you?
Of course.
Okay.
And what independent media?
Portland Indie Media, and I'm in support of these guys, yeah.
There's the risk that discussions and decisions at this meeting might be heavily slanted in the direction of solving economic problems by cutting benefits to human beings, rather than by looking at the question of how come the pie is so small. The pie is small in part because a huge portion of our tax dollars goes to fund corporate entities that are involved in military activities in Iraq and Iran, and potentially Iran, Afghanistan, but also the reality that people of lower income are paying a disproportionate share of the total tax flow, and people with higher incomes are paying a disproportionately low portion of the tax flow. So the solution to the economic crisis is not to say, well, the crisis is occurring because people of modest means are getting too much service in terms of Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security. The reality is that tax monies are not being used to a sufficient degree to be meeting the needs of people whose needs are not getting met otherwise.
It makes sense.
Now, from what little familiarity I have, the information you have in your hands now summarizes it well, I think. It appears that the things that I've just said are pretty much off the table at this town hall.
It's unfortunate. You raised some very good points, and I would think that would be a hot topic inside. But apparently, if the way they're setting up the meeting and the discussion, you're saying it probably won't be on the table.
That's my understanding.
Yeah.
In terms of the print materials that will be used in the small discussion groups, the forms, the guidelines for structuring conversation. Apparently, the things we've just been talking about are pretty much off the table. For example, the question of a national single-payer program of payment for medical care for everyone, universal care, everyone in, nobody out, expanded Medicare for all. That can make a huge difference in the economic status of our country, because presently at least 20 cents of each healthcare dollar is used for the benefit of private investor-held insurance companies. And that's, I mean, apart from the question of dividends, is the reality that in a system in which there are many private insurance companies, it's a, quote, legitimate business expense, close quote, to be spending healthcare dollars for advertising, for public relations, for salaries for executives, for gifts to elected officials, for lobbying. That uses up a lot of money that would otherwise be available to be paying for healthcare services as in every other industrialized country in the world. That's off the table.
Well, that's why you guys are out here putting it into people's minds a little bit ahead of time here and trying to get this out.
Providing people with, well, as you have, and I hope you'll share with your viewers and listeners, the reasons for concern that brings some of us out here early on a summer morning, in the hope that we'll be facilitating the thinking of people who are participating in the conference.
Yeah, well, good. Thanks for your information.
Glad to share with you.
Okay, you bet. That was Dr. Frankel. What do you see is going on around here, Mark?
Well, I mean, this whole thing is being funded largely by a guy named Pete Peterson, you know, a multi-billionaire. He's put $1 billion into these town halls. He's had a lifetime ambition of basically cutting Social Security, and he's seeing this as his opportunity by drumming up this deficit scare, which is a real concern, but it's not Social Security that's provided, that's contributing to the deficit. What it is you know, corporate welfare. In fact, that Wall Street isn't paying their fair share. It's two wars, and it's a bailout that went to the bankers that they are not getting, that we're not seeing anything from. So one of the things I want to advocate here, and something that they're not including in the discussion, is the reason why we are having such an economic crisis right now is basically people can't afford to buy things. They're either unemployed or they're not making enough wages. So we need a massive jobs funding. If you have a massive jobs funding, you have less debt. You know, because that way people have more money to pay. But everything that they're doing here is skewed towards making us pay rather than Wall Street. And I think that is just the wrong way to go.
I've heard that the topics is kind of already pre-planned in there and it's limited to certain discussion. Is that what you've heard too?
Yes, I mean, they do say they are going to take minority reports and take them down, so I'm going to participate in there and, you know, throw out my 2 cents wherever I have an opportunity. But I don't expect it to go anywhere in terms of affecting policy, because a lot of what this is a build-up for a report from the Council for Fiscal Responsibility. It's like this 18-person board that Obama set up. They're all billionaires, by the way. You know, you know, what they're going to do to propose for closing the deficit. And interestingly enough, they're going to come out with the report in December after the elections. And pretty much everything that they're proposing in here are the proposals that are being discussed by this Fiscal Responsibility Board. You know, cutting Social Security, raising the age of retirement to 69, increasing co-pays on Medicare, all these other, I think, really draconian types of measures that are wrong-headed, that aren't going to fix the deficit, and just going to let Wall Street get away with the piggy bank.
What kind of groups showed up out here? Do you know of any of the groups that planned this little protest out in front?
This thing was really pretty much organized on the fly, so we didn't really, I mean, it was only a few days that we had to do it. So we didn't really have the opportunity to go and get official support from groups, so we just sent this out over email, made phone calls, and got people to come.
Jobs with Justice, are they involved?
Jobs with Justice, a lot of people here with Jobs with Justice. This kind of thing is only going to grow and big. Because if they start messing with Social Security, you're going to get a lot of people out there, so we need to start building a movement now.